She's on her Just Getting Started tour. Visit Chicago Saturday, this Saturday, the 26th, Chicago Theater. I noticed that you're sold out everywhere, but there's 3 tickets left in Chicago. I want to say good morning to Leanne Morgan. Good morning.
Good morning, my darling.
You know, is that Middle Tennessee or is that East Tennessee, that accent?
I think it's a combo of both, my darling, because I left my farming community at 17 to go to the University of Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains. So that is a combination, but also a little Texas thrown in there.
Oh, really?
I lived in Texas with my little children and my husband.
Okay.
And that's where I got started in comedy. So it's a little of all 3 of those.
You know, I was on my way to visit a buddy last year, and I decided to drive. And I'm driving down to, is it Vonore, Tennessee?
Vonore, Tennessee.
And I was in East Tennessee, and I hadn't been there in years, and I was blown away by the beauty. And as I'm driving to get to Vonore, I actually go through Rocky Top, and I thought it was just a song.
I know they named that town. They renamed it. It was something. I can't even remember. They renamed it, and they named it Rocky Top.
Let me ask you this. We watched the craziness of the debate last night. How does politics do you use any politics in your comedy? I know you're very empowering. I know that my girl Gina loves watching your stuff because you're every woman strikes a chord with a lot of women. And I know you're very empowering, but do you ever take any of this craziness that's going on in our world and mold it into your show, or can you even do that anymore?
No, my darling, no. And there's a number of reasons. One, I don't think anybody cares what I think. 2, I don't. It makes me nervous. And honey, I'm talking about my stomach and my going to Weight Watchers and failing and being on Dexatrim diet pills in the 80s and the horrible sin I committed at the University of Tennessee in the 80s. And really in this new hour, I'm trying to think of what I talk about my husband a lot. Mm-hmm. And he wants me to. He really does. And, I don't talk about all that, but I've been looking at it this morning because I knew that was going on and I wanted to know what was happening. But, I don't talk about that. And I think, people are thankful that I don't bring it up because I think everybody needs a break, from all this crazy in the world.
I think you're onto something there, and I think that's why we go to these comedy shows. By the way, Chicago Theater, Saturday, some tickets still available. I was perusing your Instagram. How much has social media changed the way you work your craft? Because, that's a whole nother revenue stream. If I'm not mistaken, you have about 550,000 followers on Insta alone. That's huge numbers.
Oh, my darling. And there's I'm about to hit 2 million on Facebook, and I have young people that I call it working that voodoo, because I don't know how to do all that. I was putting up pictures of my dachshund in 2018, and my career, it was going nowhere. I've been doing comedy for over 20 years. Nobody knew who I was. I could not get arrested. It was until I got young people to figure out all this stuff that this happened for me. And now this is my second tour, Ray. And I called it the Just Getting Started tour because I feel like I'm just getting started at 57 years old with a Netflix special. And did you know, Ray, I shot a movie with Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell.
Oh, come on.
I know. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard?
Tell me,
it'll be out in about a year.
Tell me Will Ferrell's is nice in person. Is he? The guy just makes you laugh. That had to be great for you.
Oh, he is precious. He is absolutely precious. And he knew that I was scared to death and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know that there's a piece of tape on the floor and you've got to go stand on it and say a line. I didn't know anything. And he was wonderful to me. So was Reese. Everybody wanted to see me win. They were darling.
Did you share any of your Dexatrim with these guys?
Honey, I don't think they make Dexatrim anymore. I wish they did.
What about your weight loss? You've had some success at it, though, haven't you?
Oh, well, honey, I go up and down.
We all do. We all do.
And Ray, I thought about getting on that diabetic shot. Everybody's losing weight and whole-eyed with that. But I'm worried about the GI part of it. I'm always on a plane. That's too much for y'all to have to hear on the radio this morning.
What do you think? But you talk about it, and this is where you become relatable, because moms, daughters, sisters, there's a song out. There's a country music song. I think it's Ashley Monroe that sings it. I may be wrong, or Ashley somebody or other sings a song. And she's talking about, it's called Leave the Light On in the Kitchen. And Mama, always says that, it's not that important to be so skinny. And I think that's part of the problem. Seriously, I think part of the problem with our society for women, I have two beautiful daughters and a beautiful girlfriend and a lovely ex-wife. And there's so much pressure on, because of social media, because how we're supposed to look, and it can become problemsome. And I think that's how you relate to people, because you're every woman.
Oh, thank you, my darling. Thank you. And my weight goes up and down, and we all, a lot of people struggle with that. But I'm so thankful that you talking about social media, that these young girls can have a fanny now, Ray. When I was growing up, we were ashamed of our fanny. Now the bigger the fanny, the better. Well, I have a big fanny, and that was not popular in the 80s. Remember the 80s when everybody was like, it was that little Kate Moss, little frail Kate Moss. Nobody had a fanny. So I'm thankful at least that now girls can celebrate that.
What's the old line?
Daughter-in-law.
This is Leanne Morgan. She is going to be at the Chicago Theater this Saturday. There's a couple tickets left. Yeah, what's the old line? It's men like meat, dogs like bones. Isn't that how it goes?
Ray, really and truly, my fanny got my husband, and he has health insurance. and that, yes, and a retirement plan.
Nice.
401k.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, so it really helped me in life. It really did. Mm-hmm.
My mom is 91 years old, Leanne, and she tells me, she goes, you know what, today I'd have been a rock star because big butts weren't in style when I was a kid, but look at this can. She's 91, she's telling me that. I'm like, you all are crazy.
Look at this can.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Where do we find you in the world today, Leanne? Where are you calling from this morning?
I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, my darling. I've got 3 shows. I had one last night, one tonight, sold out, one tomorrow night, and then I fly to Chicago to be with y'all at that big Chicago theater, and that is a big deal. And I worked the Vic in Chicago during the Big Panty Tour, my first tour. Speaking of big butts.
Big Panty Tour, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a good one. We had a ball talking about my panties. And then now this big Chicago theater. So I'm really excited, my darling.
Hey, let me ask you this, because you mentioned your age, and that at the onset of social media, young kids started to gravitate toward you, and you found a career and success after doing it for so long. What do you tell people? Because we're disposable once we get into our 50s. Nobody wants us around anymore. What do you tell people that are maybe trying to do something that they're having a hard time at? Do you just keep hitting the stone?
Yes, my darling. And when you touched on something, and we all felt invisible, and everybody was like, who cares about us? And I think that Hollywood kind of ignored my demographic, and I think that's why this has happened for me, is that we are not dead. We are not going away. We are people who want to keep going and doing, and let me tell you, this Just Getting Started tour, I partnered with Vanity Fair Lingerie, Ray, that is giving women seed money to start something new in midlife. So if they want to go back to college, if they want to start a business, if they want to start a nonprofit, because it is never too late. And you got to, and Lord, look at Jamie Lee Curtis. And let me just say this, I was awarded Forbes 50 over 50, and I'll be going to that luncheon in October in New York. And that's Viola Davis, Jamie Lee Curtis, Katie Couric, Patti LaBelle. You think about all the people doing big things, Mel Robbins, all these podcasters, radio personalities, all these women doing unbelievable things. at 50 and up.
I can't tell you how many times a day.
Never too late.
I can't tell you how many times a day I hear Mel Robbins' name in my household. She's something. Hey, congratulations to you, Leanne. We're going to send some people your way. Chicago Theater this Saturday. You're fun, funny, and inspirational. I appreciate the chat.
Oh, you angel. I've had a ball, you don't. Come back through Von Noor.
Thank you, my darling.
All right. Bye-bye.
You have a good day. That's is Leanne Morgan. You're going to find her Chicago Theater this Saturday. We'll put all her details up on the internet. You can also find her at leannemorgan.com.